Alright, so welcome to the playtest for Dragons and Travelers Tales. This is a hack of Dungeon World that I wrote, and it's the very first playtest of the game. I've given you all character sheets, and I hope you all have access to the rules and the player's handout. Okay, good. Well, we'll start with character creation. We're not going to do the settlement or world creation here because this is going to be just a kind of one-shot sort of arrangement. Possibly two-shot, depends on how we feel if we want to change up the tone of the game for the second session. There will be two sessions, but we might be using the same characters, different characters. It's all up to how we feel for that. So, to take us through character creation, there's a procedure we can follow. So, you're going to want to have the full set of rules open to the tables. Yes, so starting on page 7. And if you have your handout open, you can look at the character creation rules at the end of the document. So they're very similar to Dungeon World, but, you know, with a few little differences here and there. So I just wanted to ask, first of all, how many of you have played Dungeon World before? Just put your hands up.
Do variants count, like little adventures?
Yeah, I'd say yes. So everybody's played some form of Dungeon World before. Some of you played Worlds of Adventure, some of you played Dungeon World. Okay, cool. How many of you have played the Perilous Wilds before? Used the Perilous Wilds before. Okay, 1, 2 people. Kind of, sort of, Lauren and Alex. I think I threw 1 or 2 things from there in that one session we played. And then the last question is, how many of you have played Funnel World before? Okay, one
I
person.
heard Tom talk about the Celebrity one, and it sounded amazing. So that's
Yeah.
my experience.
So this is definitely going to have a very different tone from Tom's Celebrity Funnel World episode. So just to have a little tone discussion here, I definitely want to move towards like very kind of like easygoing and like heartwarming, cutesy kind of situation here. So I'm, even though there are rules from Funnel World being used, I want to emphasize that I'm not out to kill all your characters, and I also want to emphasize that in some situations of combat, the best thing to do may be to run away. So fighting to the death may get you killed in some situations, and in the fight or flight instinct, you may want to flee instead of fight. So just want to put that out there to start with. Because yeah, one of the big conceits about this game is that all of your characters are kind of average people. Like, you know, Dungeon World is very much a kind of heroic fantasy game, but this is not a heroic fantasy game. This is about average people going out on these kind of journeys, or in some way pilgrimages around the world, to have travel experiences that these Ryujin, these like dragon folk, can record, and then recording these stories, they sort of like give them to the dragons who are creating the world. So by going on these like travels, they end up like basically feeding the world and making sure that everything goes nicely. So this is like something that everybody does in this whole civilization, and I also want to emphasize that it's a thing that people don't necessarily do when they're young. They might do it when they're older, they might do it when they're younger. So if you want to have characters of differing ages, that's totally fine. I think it would be a fun dynamic as well. So to start with, we're going to do the first part of the character creation, which is to roll your occupation. So you basically are going to go to the top of the occupations list, and as it says, you can roll 1d40 to pick your occupation. And basically, I want you to do this 3 times and pick one. It's kind of what I figured out here for the procedure. So you can just use Roll20 to go like /roll space 1d40. And just do that 3 times, get 3 numbers, and see what occupations you come out with and which ones are interesting to you.
Totally gonna noob up this die rolling, let's see. Oh no, I did it.
Yay!
No, you can't fail at Roll20 as badly as I fail at Roll20.
Yeah. Oops, I mean, I totally know what I'm doing.
Oh, you're rolling 3d40. Okay, that
Damn
works.
it!
No, I mean, that's totally fine, because you get separate dice results, so you can just, like, pick out the ones that you got there. So,
I still fucked it up.
it seems like everybody kind of did that. So Matthias,
oh, yeah, everyone did that.
have you been able to figure this out?
Yeah, I've got it. No worries. I was just.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, those are some low rolls. Good thing they don't count for anything. And you got a double. Wow. Okay, so you can roll one more. You were rolling d20s. Okay. So if you want to roll one more d40, you can pick out another one for yourself there.
Sure.
Cool. All right. So take a look at the list and see which of these are like interesting to you. It's not about what ones are like actually strong. Not really concerned about that. I'm just kind of concerned with which ones sort of speak to you as like, I'd like to play this kind of person.
Also good.
Okay, good. That's good feedback. That's okay. Playtest, great success. We're done here.
You're holiday here.
I might be a herbalist.
Oh, okay. That sounds pretty good. Pretty practical.
I got like hedge, wizard, potter, and miner, and they all sound amazing. So I.
Great. Getting hedge wizard is pretty lucky. Because they're definitely one of the, like, they're still really weak, but they're, like, way more powerful than, say, beggar. Which is, like, oh, man, it's pretty rough.
I play a hedge wizard of sorts. Like, every game that I play.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you could just play Tanya. That's true. One thing I'll remind you is that, like in Funnel World, you get a move in this game, which is like to do your thing. So if it's fictionally justified, you can do whatever sort of work your occupation would allow you to normally do in the game. So yeah, it's not just like the equipment list you get. You also get that kind of fictional positioning of like, this is a thing I can do.
I mean, this could be like Paddy's fever dream, where they're actually like a nice person and fun things happen, and no one's getting possessed by demons.
Yeah. That's completely possible.
I think I'm picking the boat right.
A boat right? Okay, cool.
Do I roll now for how many planks of wood I've got, or later?
Ah, yes, please roll now. Please, if you need to roll for your equipment, please roll now. Got planks of wood, it's great. Best equipment ever. Who needs a magic sword? And yeah, whatever your occupation you choose, just write it in where it says class on your character sheet. For those,
My head was. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, for those of you who have picked your occupation, you can assign your stats. You get the standard spread of stats from Dungeon World. So it's 16, 15, 13, 12, 9, 8, and I will paste that into the Roll20 chat as well. So just to let you know that even though you don't have a class like in Dungeon World, you do get the same stats as a Dungeon World character, so you're not quite as bad as a Funnel World character. And it will automatically calculate your modifiers, I believe, based on what stats you put in there. The character sheet will. So we got a hedge wizard, a baker, a boatwright, and a herbalist. Cool.
I got optimistic for my personality trait.
Oh, nice. An optimistic hedge wizard. Cool.
Which is nice, because, like, my cantrip is light, so it's like, I'm gonna be that bubbly, annoying, like, come on, everyone. Love and peace. It's gonna be so weird. You're in a game with me where I'm not sad.
Good. I think that was the idea. Yeah, so you're supposed to roll twice and choose one for your personality trait. Just to give you some options.
Is there a spot we should put the traits, or is that
You can put that in. Let's see. I think the best place to put that might be in your bio and info.
It could work in front of the class because it would look like a kind of like double class, like I'm a thorough baker.
Oh yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
I
Good
like it a
idea,
lot,
Lou.
yeah.
Good idea. The foolish herbalist.
These are gonna be some fun healing times, I tell you that.
Absent-minded boat right.
I
That's
love
dangerous.
this.
A thorough baker and an optimistic hedge wizard. I like this already. This is really good.
Yeah, this is amazing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so next step is to so I guess you already did your personality. So one thing you can do now is choose your look. So it's step 7. You can pick your gender. You can pick your like stock. So we're not like using the racial rules from Dungeon World. I'm just kind of going like with the same sort of ideas in Worlds of Adventure, where it's just there for flavor and doesn't have any mechanical effect. So you can just stick that in the race box, but like it doesn't actually matter in the same way it did in Dungeon World. Then you're gonna want to pick your body type, what kind of eyes you have, and what kind of hair you have, if any.
Sorry, I missed a step. How do we do like stats and stuff?
Oh, the stats? They
Oh, the
go.
modifier?
They go into where it says like strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. You just type them in there, and then the
I see.
modifier is automatically calculated.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I missed step 2, which was the stats.
It's okay. It sounds like people are kind of at like various steps in the character creation process, so. And if you need the numbers, they're down there in the chat. 16, 15, 13, 12, 9, and 8.
What's our base HP?
Your maximum HP will be your HP plus your Constitution score. So not your con mod, but your full Constitution score.
Yeah. But
Sorry, your base HP. Sorry.
yeah. What's the
Right. Okay, that's the thing I need to change. So I'm gonna change that. So let's say, just give me a second. I'll come up with an answer for you. Just looking here through Dungeon World, what would be appropriate?
I mean, it could just be it's your constitution.
It totally could, yeah. But even like the bard gets like 6+ Constitution, so I'll give you like 4+ Constitution. How about that? All right, I'm gonna change that up right now. The text. Nice, that's good. So is everybody just going through their look? Right? Nice.
Hmm.
So if you are finished your look, you can go to the motivations table and roll 1d20 twice to get 2 options and then pick one. Or you can just choose one yourself. Whatever feels good.
Oh, same question with the base load for
Is it the same problem I've neglected to fix?
each class, I believe, has a
No,
Dungeon World.
your character's load is equal to their strength plus 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not strength, but your strength modifier plus 4. Yeah, so it's not class based.
Cool. So, who's helping me carry my planks of wood? I'm starting out overburdened.
How many planks of wood do you start with?
6.
6 planks of wood. Wow. Wow, this party is loaded. Well, maybe you can put your starting money together and buy a cart, and then just like carry around your planks of wood with you.
Yeah.
What? You could make a cart out of the planks.
Maybe.
Or maybe a sled.
Yeah. Or
But
a
then,
boat.
what do I bird?
We do have a boat, right?
Yeah. So,
Okay, so does everyone have a motivation?
I do.
Okay, good. Alright, that's good to hear. So everybody's got a look, everyone's got a motivation. And now we're gonna go to the introducing your character stage. So why don't we start with Alex, since you're on the left here for me. I guess it's alphabetical, so yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
It's me. My character, whose name I've forgotten to actually make, so I'll think about that while everyone else is introducing their characters.
Okay, we'll come back to you. We'll come back to you. You've come up with a
Yeah.
name, and then we'll do yours. Did I screw up the procedure where the name is like after this or something, or is it just not included? Yeah, it's just not.
not
It's
there.
just not included, so I'll need to add that for sure. Okay,
Also,
add name. Okay, everybody, take a moment to add a name for your character. Definitely.
I got a name.
Good. All right, so
picking names is a little bit hard when. What cultural constraints are we actually thinking?
right, it's not determined, so
Yeah.
we can kind of just choose anything. But I mean,
Okay.
from Utama, the original sort of game that was the inspiration for this, it's sort of like this Miyazaki-like faux Europe setting. So if we want to go with that, if we just want to play to like the Utama style, then we can totally do that, and like you can use like French names or whatever you like. Really. Okay, has everybody got a name? Or is that too early? Okay, Alex, now you can go. Let's
Alrighty.
hear it.
So, I am Arca, the foolish herbalist.
Okay, Arca.
Yes.
Okay, the
Intimate
foolish
with an
herbalist.
ambiguous look, scrawny body, happy eyes, and messy hair. I carry a staff, a pouch, and some healing herbs. And I'm on this trip to explore a mysterious place.
Oh, what's the mysterious place you want to go to?
I just got my name, alright? I can't think of another one. It's like a mystical herb ground where like only the rarest of herbs grow.
Okay. Okay, so it's like some kind of like forest glen or something, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
legendary. All right. And why is this foolish to go there?
I think Ark is just like a bit naive about the world in general. So like, will buy snake oil at face value,
Uh-huh.
believes anything anyone tells them.
Mm-hmm.
Because like they haven't experienced the world yet. They grew up in this little village. They don't know what's out there.
Right. So you don't really know much about the place you're going, I guess, right? Just kind of heard the
No.
name.
I figured like some family member of mine was like, "It's time, young one. You must go on the sacred journey."
Okay. You must go on the sacred journey to a place that we'll come up with a name for. Okay, good.
Go pick some herbs.
All right. All right, Lauren, who's your character?
Also, hang on, I also have a picture. I was frantically Googling it for stuff. I'll pop it in the Hangouts, I guess.
You can.
Um,
Okay. You can add it to your
okay.
character
Oh,
sheet
yeah.
as well.
It's also my character sheet, yeah. But I don't know if anyone else can see my character sheet.
Probably not. So this was a good idea. Yeah. Let's take a look.
So.
Okay.
I'm Ithe the Gentle, wizard. In terms of look, Ithe the Gentle is sometimes mistaken for being Ithe the Scary because they're rather intimidating. But in reality, they're just like a bit squishy and optimistic and like a good cheerleader team play, kind of like, yeah, everyone. For looks, they're female dragonkin with a somewhat, I guess maybe I might change scrawny body to just like average body because that dragon looks a bit buff.
All right.
And a bald head. Her motivation is to uncover a hidden truth.
Okay. And what truth are you trying to uncover?
I don't know. Maybe it's related to the secret place.
Okay.
That-
So you're interested in this forest as well?
yeah, perhaps I'm looking to uncover some secret truths about this forest.
Okay. So you are a hedge wizard. Does the
I'm a hedge
forest
wizard.
does the forest have some significance to your hedge wizardry?
Potentially. I'm a hedge wizard of light, so I thought it made sense to go for a dragonkin in that sense.
Okay.
Perhaps it has some. I imagine it has some magical significance. That is yet that I must go out and uncover the truth of. Perhaps, yeah.
Okay, so
I'm
maybe...
looking forward to having that emerge of play. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, so maybe you could learn something from the forest. Maybe you learn some magic or something from the forest.
Perhaps I seek to counsel another hedge wizard of non-light in the forest to reveal the truth about other magics to me.
Yeah, totally. Could be. Okay. All right, Lou, who's your character?
All right. My character is a baker. She's a gnome, a tiny little cute round gnome.
Okay.
She has happy eyes and long plaited black hair.
Okay.
And her motivation is to locate a lost thing.
What's her name?
Oh yeah, her name is. I had a different name, and then when we were talking about French names, I changed her name from Duffy to Croquembouche.
Croquembouche. Okay.
Which, if anyone doesn't know, is a ridiculous tower of tiny little cakes with custard inside them and syrup drizzled all over them.
That's great. I'm into
You
it.
can make up some cute nickname for me if it's too much to say.
Okay. Maybe some people will call you that in the party. Although I assume you always announce yourself by your full first name. Or your name at all. Okay. So what was your motivation? Sorry.
She's trying to locate a lost thing.
Okay, what are you trying to find?
Well, my initial thoughts were some sort of lost recipe, but then I also thought that maybe she just got told that she would know what it was when she saw it, because that kind of leaves things open. It's a mysterious thing, whichever of those is more interesting to you.
I mean, what if it's like a lost ingredient?
I was gonna say ingredient in the forest, right? Like some, not magic. I'm saying magic mushrooms. Maybe not magic mushrooms, but like some other ingredient.
Like some kind of lost herb or something like that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
A rare plant or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you and Arca are looking for the same thing.
Cool. But we don't
I'm gonna
know
say,
it.
yeah, we might have to fight for it.
Yeah.
Scandal.
Okay. And finally, Matthias, please tell us about your character.
Yeah, I'm playing Frederick, the absent-minded boatwright.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Frederick is a not so young anymore human man with a scrawny body, placid eyes, and bald. And you might think, yeah, maybe he might have acquired some wisdom through his like respectable age by now, but no, that hasn't happened. He's quite sharp-witted, but doesn't really pick up on the interconnected cues and anything. And his motivation is I went with see all the trees and parentheses wood in the world. Like he's interested in the wood of the trees.
Like you want to like catalog different kinds of wood?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice.
Probably everything from a boat ride's perspective, right?
Yeah. Like it'll be very sort of like practical notes you're writing down.
Yeah.
Like would make for a good oar.
Yeah. the the um the book he wants to write one day, right? Wood. A scene from the perspective of a boat ride.
Nice.
Like, super.
Very to the point. Okay, good. Nice. Yeah. Cool. So let's carry on then to the next thing we're doing, which is going to be to choose bonds, right? So there are some bond suggestions on page 10 of the book, and you can just pick out one for every one of your group mates here.
Can I just quickly say on record that I love everyone so much? Like, these characters are all incredible.
Yeah, I'm very excited about these characters and their journey to the forest.
Hey, sorry, go, Alex.
What was your character's name again?
Yes,
You got to write
that's
it
right.
down.
I was going to say I vagued out with Alex and Lauren's character.
So if everybody could just go to the settings tab on Roll20 and change your display name to your character name, I think that'll help everybody in terms of like being able to see.
I can only see my own character in the characters thing.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about your name at the bottom of the screen.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, so if you go to like the gear tab and then go to player name and change that to your character name. Yeah, and if you want to add your pronouns, that's a good idea too, for sure. I guess I should say we are playing with the X card. I can't see this being a X card thing in terms of content, but if there's something that you don't want to see in the game, you can always exit out.
Oh, I also might have my doorbell might ring at some point, and I might quickly need to get that.
Okay, that's fine.
It'll be my copy of Bluebird's Bride. So.
Oh wow,
Oh my god.
nice. Hard copy.
Yeah.
Hey, Alex, what was your profession and your your personality or whatever?
Oh, a foolish herbalist.
That's it. And what's your personality, Lauren?
Optimistic hedge wizard.
Optimistic. Thanks.
Matthias, what was your trait again? You were a
Absent-minded boat ride.
absent-minded. Awesome.
Yeah. I was thinking like, yeah, someone who really is like super specialized into his craft and good at it, but the rest is, yeah, he's only thinking that word. He's only seeing that word through that view.
Oh, I love this so much.
Everything is like a carpentry and boat making metaphor for you. Someone tries to explain something to you, it's like, put it in boat terms for me.
I'm all ready with my bonds if you
Okay,
guys are ready to hear them.
I'm ready.
Cool. Okay. So with Frederick, the absent-minded boat rat, I have Frederick has much to teach me about trees.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yes. How do I pronounce your character's name, Lauren?
Ite.
Ife. Cool. Ife is destined to greatness because of their magic. And is it Akra? Or is it a harsher A than that?
Aka.
Akra, I will learn Akra's secrets about herbs.
Oh yeah, maybe get some trade secrets. Make some better pastries and cakes and stuff. Cool. Okay. Anyone else want to go for bonds now?
I'm still struggling with one.
Okay.
Hey, Alex and Lauren. Sorry, I was vaguing out when you guys were describing your characters. Are you humans or are you?
No, I do that all the time. I'm Dragonkin.
Okay. I'm glad I know that.
The messages and on the Roll20 if you want to see what I look like. I think these are pretty. I like that picture a lot. It's very adorable.
Yeah, it's something I've noticed through watching back in videos sometimes that like character creation is like, I guess it's a big cognitive load thing, and I often I'm trying to get better at like stopping and like listening to people when they're describing like in that moment to like stop for a second and like notice what people are actually saying about their awesome characters. What about your character, Alex?
It's just a regular old human.
Cool. I managed to pay attention for you, Matthias.
I think I have my bonds. They're all like fluffy feel-good bonds, though.
That's totally fine.
So, I will protect Arca from themselves.
Okay.
I'm
sounds
trying to
about
tie into
right.
the whole foolish thing.
Yeah.
Croquembouche is destined for greatness because of their fine palate. I like to think that you introduce me to a lot of really good human food that I can't get enough of. So being a dragon kin. So I have a real sweet tooth for pastries. I'm like, oh my god, your pastries are just the best thing ever.
Lucky I'm carrying a giant sack of flour around with me for the journey then.
And if you need me to light new fires, you just come to me.
Yeah, I'm gonna be really interested to see your attempts at baking on the road.
We can do
Maybe
it.
some flatbread or something.
I'm optimistic about this venture.
Of course.
And then I respect Frederick for his dedication to his craft.
That's good because I have something you might not respect me anymore.
Oh, really? This is interesting now.
Yeah, I have I trust Arca because they have a good sense for plants. That was easy. And
sense for plants. Okay. Yeah.
and Croquembouche misunderstands me when I say, always look at the toppings of the trees when you enter a new valley.
So what's this about? What's the misunderstanding there?
I think she, right?
Yeah.
She thinks about well, she thinks meaning toppings in terms of on bakery goods.
Okay, got it.
So it's really confusing. What am I talking about? And I say, like, you can see the health of a tree from looking at its top. And when you enter a new valley, you kind of know what kind of place you're going into.
Right. Gotcha. Of course, that makes a lot of sense. Okay. Cool.
And
yeah.
with if they must forget about how I cheated the lumberjacks out of their earnings.
I love that it's like, I respect you, but ooh, I hate you.
Good.
Yeah, maybe that's something like I didn't want you to see or notice that I was cheating them at probably card game or something.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe
Dodgy old Frederick.
Yeah. So that was like a big opportunity to... Actually, you know what? That's probably why you have 6 planks of wood, right?
We.
So you're teaching me out of lumber, you said?
No, the lumberjacks. Cheated the lumberjacks out of wood. Yeah.
Ah, nice.
Cool.
And now I have too much wood. I can't even carry all of my plank without being encumbered.
It's like, where'd you come by all this wood? Cool. All right. So it looks like everybody's got some bonds with each other. That's good.
Wait, I haven't gone yet.
Oh, right. Sorry. I assumed you were
Goodness, Kyle.
first
Get it
because
together.
of your alphabetical supremacy. Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty, Arca, who stands above all others, apparently.
Alphabetically speaking.
I will learn Frederick's secret about wood. He knows things, but he just isn't telling me.
Uh-huh.
Croquembouche has much to teach me about deliciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you're herbalist, you probably are always like feeding people really bad tasting things and be like, it's good for you. Take your medicine.
Exactly. And then I trust the Fae because she's always looking out for me.
Oh, okay, good. Alright. Nice. Yeah. Okay. So, everybody, I guess we're kind of done character creation here. It's pretty fast. Oh, right, the last thing is very important, which I forgot about. You have to take your gold. Did everybody take your gold?
I certainly did not forget to.
Okay, good. So, everybody take your gold, and then go ahead and, if you want, you can spend it on some stuff. There is an equipment section in the main book, which is exactly the same as in Dungeon World. So if you're wanting to spend, go there. I would suggest getting some rations and stuff.
How much gold do we have, sir?
You get 12 coins.
12 coins.
Yes. Once in a lifetime, every
Thank you.
individual is entitled to 12 coins to go on a journey and add to the stories of the lands. Take yours now. You'll probably want to spend it on traveling rations and gear.
Kind of feel like it's a dragon that's counterintuitive to my beliefs.
To what? To spend your gold?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you want to keep it and starve, you totally can. I mean, unless you're really good at foraging. So yeah, just to quickly give you some information. Rations cost 3 gold. 3 coins. And you can also buy adventuring gear for... Unfortunately, I don't think you can afford adventuring gear. It's too expensive. 20 coins. You can buy poultices and herbs for 10 coins.
Just so you guys know, I spent all of my money on beer, bringing beer.
You're bringing the party. It's good.
Yeah. I have a whole keg of dwarven beer.
Yeah. Oh, you can buy a club for 1 coin. That's good. Club or shillelagh for 1 coin. Dagger for 2 coins. Short sword, axe, warhammer, or mace for 8 coins. These are all options. Or, you know, you can just shine light on people too. That's fine. You don't have to take a weapon. Oh, and make sure you figure out your encumbrance when you add your items. If you want, let's see. Ooh. Buying a wagon is way out of your price range, unfortunately. 150 coins. Gonna have to carry that stuff, unless you want to build one.
We could make a sled out of some of the planks and drag all our stuff along on it.
Yeah, you definitely could. Might be kind of tough, though, especially when you get into some muddy territory. I have a feeling it would get stuck.
Yeah.
Sorry, you go.
Without adventuring gear, it's very hard to conjure up the things that you need besides the planks of wood to actually build something.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thing. Like, maybe you could, instead of buying adventuring gear, you can buy, like, a tool for, like, 2 coins. So it's, like, a specific tool, not, like, adventuring gear, which is kind of like anything you want, right?
Yeah, that's what I was just going to ask, if I can buy some sort of camp oven for my remaining 2 gold, so I actually have something to, like, cook with.
Yeah,
Can
sure. Yeah,
Rad.
go for it.
Or we pool to buy adventuring gear.
We've got 1 adventuring gear. Come on, everybody.
And then it's really a mystery because everybody bought something.
Yeah.
You didn't know what the other people bought, so it makes even more sense.
So I will add a list for like specific tools, different prices.
I think I sorted my gear.
Okay, good. Great, everybody. So the only one who's encumbered is Matthias, is that correct?
Yes.
So
I'm definitely...
someone else want to carry some of this wood?
I'm at my max load already.
I can
Can't
carry
carry any of your
exactly
wood.
one. Exactly one plank.
Yeah, I think I can carry one as well.
Okay, so you guys can take 3 planks with you and be unencumbered.
I guess I'll do it, Frederick, but you've got to promise me you're going to stop stealing from people. It's not nice.
I will examine the wood and let its secrets.
Yeah, no, you definitely will. You'll have plenty of time to get closely acquainted with the wood.
So you two are helping with planks of wood. Well,
Yes.
then, yeah, you can write down plank of wood. I'll reduce mine to 4. I guess. Which still, I'm still overburdened, but that's fine.
You could drop some. You can give some of that wood back to those poor carpenters or loggers.
No, that was hard earned.
Okay.
I want to do that. Which is fine though, right? When you make a move while carrying weight equal to load +1 or load +2, you take -1.
Yeah,
I just have to put my stuff down before I do things.
that's true. You can still travel while you're overburdened.
Yeah.
So, speaking of travel, let's figure out your destination here. So I assume you're all kind of coming from the same village. Maybe it sounds like you might come from like a village life path kind of situation. Maybe it's a nicer village, so you can have a bakery in it, but village nonetheless. And let's come up with a name for that. For that forest.
I'm picturing some sort of like crossroads, like a trading village or something with a market and stuff. We've got boat builders and herbalists and like, you know.
Yeah, it's like a larger village, but there's like a forest around definitely because we've got so many people connected to forest stuff. And maybe and maybe it's also like by the seaside or like by a large river so that we can have a ship right here, boat right here, and that will make sense. Cool. So I'm just gonna first of all come up with a name for the village, which is not difficult because we already got some names. Steading. So I'm gonna call the village. Let's call it Seawall. So you're all from the village of Seawall, and you're going to. Let's come up with a forest name. Let's say the Crevel Wood. Crevel Woods. So going to the heart of the Crevel Woods, maybe, is the destination we've got here. So I think that means we can start the game if everybody's ready. We'll take a short 5-minute break, just for everyone to be able to get ready, get something to drink and stuff. So I'll see you then. So, almost good to go. So, how did everybody feel about character creation? Was it fairly easy to get through? Not
Yeah,
too
it was fun.
good.
It's nice to make like a bunch of fun characters after all this like veil and burning wheel and betrayal and death.
Yeah. It's much lighter. And I think like the random element definitely helps to sort of lighten the mood a little bit. Having these kind of silly descriptions of characters you can work from.
Mm.
Okay, right, so I also need to introduce my character because this game is based on Utama, so I'm playing as a green Eugene named Akur. Akur is my name, and I'm starting out. I'm just a young Eugene, so I don't have a lot of experience, and I don't have a lot of power, but I'm here to guide you on your journey. And I've got 2 whole hold to spend on my special moves, so we'll see how I use that as we go along our journey today. But with that out of the way, I did want to read a little intro thing from Utama because it's nice. So at the beginning of the book in in Utama, it says, in the beginning of the world, there were 4 types of dragons. From the 4 dragons were born the seasons. From the seasons were born the 7 dragons of weather. From the weather were born the 13 dragons of earth. The wind blowing out of the grasslands, the soft sunlight, pairs of beasts, lively castle towns, all is given life by the long breath of the dragons. From the 24 dragons, innumerable more are born into the world. They wait for the time to awaken. The time has not yet come. The world is a dragon's egg, with the travelers and Eugene warming it. What sort of dragon will hatch into this world? So that's the premise of this game, is that we're kind of helping with world creation here. Yeah. So, to begin with, we're going to do the start of session move, which is pretty simple. It is, when you start a new session of play, the Eugene restores their special move hold to the amount dictated by their level. If the Eugene recites a poem about the events of the previous session, they take +1 hold, but I can't do that yet. Then, one player should volunteer to be the mapper for the session, and another should volunteer to be the journal keeper. So who wants to be the mapper and who wants to be the journal keeper? If you do it, you get an experience bonus at the end of the session. So the mapper basically is somebody who's going to find pictures from the internet about stuff we saw along the way and add them to Instagram board. Or not Instagram, Pinterest board. And then the journal keeper is exactly what it sounds like. You're going to write a little journal about the journey when we stop to make camp along the way. So, yeah, it's pretty much just journal writing. But you're going to have to take...
Can I please be the journal writer?
You can be the journal writer if you want. You volunteered, so you're the journal writer. Just make sure you take notes along the way, and then, like, when we stop, like, to camp, we're actually going to stop play for, like, 5 to 15 minutes just to let the journal writer and the map keeper... do their thing. So then it doesn't mean you have to like frantically be writing while you're playing the game. You'll have time to actually do their thing during that period of time. So who wants to be the map maker? Is anyone interested in grabbing pictures, making a scrapbook?
Do we have to have signed up to Pinterest?
Yes, you do. To be able to use it. I mean, Lou, if you just want to draw some pictures, Lou, that's fine too.
Yeah, I'd be happy just to draw a map I normally draw pictures while I'm playing anyway, so I could just do that and scan it in while we're having our break. That would be fun for me. But are you interested in doing the Pinterest thing, Matthias?
You can do it if you want to do this.
All right.
I would.
Let's let Lude work his artistic magic, and we'll enjoy that.
But I do love the idea that a mandatory Pinterest subscription is required before you can
I mean, you could use Roll20 to do this as well, right? But yeah, that's an interesting point. Maybe you don't want to sign up for Pinterest. So cool. Anyway, all right. So we've done the start of session move, and what that means is that we're going to start our journey, and I think that. So we have two kind of options here. We could either go straight for the forest, which I'm kind of assuming this place is like out of the way because it's kind of like the place of legend. So like we could start with undertake a perilous journey and just like go like right off the beaten track and go there. Or we could try to like go to some like waypoint in between and then like go to the forest after that. So do you want to take the safer route or the more dangerous route is kind of what I'm asking here.
Where are the more interesting trees?
Probably the more dangerous route, right? Because like those are the ones you would be less familiar with.
I'm like incredibly optimistic about our chances in the dangerous route. We're all very confident, capable people.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't noticed that there's a difference in danger between the routes. Like, yes.
It's like there is the highway, or we could take the old like woodsman's road through this narrow mountain pass.
Woodsman's road? That sounds good.
Yeah, right. My grandpappy used to use that road. It's gonna be fine. Cool. All right, so you want to undertake a perilous journey? We can do that. So I'm going to say, so I'll just read out the move here. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's undertake a curious journey, because this game isn't that dangerous. So
That's great.
when you travel through untamed lands and not on a safe route, declare your destination to the Eugene and ask how far you should be able to get before needing to make camp. The Eugene will tell you how long the trip takes by establishing a journey clock. If you're exploring with no set destination, indicate which direction you go. Then choose one party member to scout ahead and one to navigate, resolving these moves for every 2 clock segments you progress in that order. So, to begin with...
No quartermaster.
Okay. Actually, the way this works, I believe, is that the quartermaster move comes when you make camp. It's not when you do the journey. So it's like whenever you pause along the way, that's when you're going to do the quartermaster thing.
Cool.
So I will say, so let's talk about this. I will say that the journey clock is probably about, let's say, 12 journey clock segments overall, because I think this is going to be a little bit of a tough journey. So 0 to 12, and let's talk about how you get there. So we established that this is kind of a seaside town. We established it's a market town. We established there's a forest nearby. So what do you think is like the next closest kind of environment that you would travel through on your way to your destination? Oh, I'll give you a list of options here because there's a number of them in the book. We have grassland, wasteland, woods, highlands, rocky terrain, deep forest, swamp, mountains, desert, jungle, or alpine.
I'm picturing kind of rocky terrain as we wind up towards the mountains.
Okay.
So that, yeah.
Like some hill lands, right?
Yeah, so if you want to go through rocky terrain, these are rough areas, tougher to traverse than wastelands, but not quite mountainous. These rocky areas tend to be steep, stony inclines with little plant and animal life, or else flat and very dry, verging on being desert. Um, so is that what you had in mind, or is it more like highlands that you had in mind?
I kind
Yeah.
of like the idea of going through the rocky stuff in,
It's
like
just
before
like-
we get into the
Yeah, it's just like, oh, there's a road, but forget that. Let's go through like,
yeah
okay, I'm gonna call this like,
with all the lumber.
yeah. I'm gonna call this place like the Forsaken Crags. Um,
Well, it's totally because like one of us knows of a quick cut through the Forsaken Crag. So why would you bother taking the safe road
right,
when you can
of
just
course,
zip through there?
of course. And the other thing I have to establish is that it's, let's say it's springtime right now. The way we're playing, there's like 3 different ways to do seasons in this game, but I'm just gonna do the most simple one. So every session will represent 1 season. So we're gonna play in springtime. So the weather will be, well, given that you're going through this rocky terrain, it might be nicer than if it was summertime and you would kind of suffer from heat exhaustion and stuff. um, so cool. So you have a area you're going to travel through. So now I'm going to tell you how far you can get without having to make camp. So I'm going to say this will be like, I think you can only make it 2 segments on your total journey clock before having to take a rest, because this is going to be some rough going. So now you want to choose 1 party member to scout ahead and 1 to navigate. So your scout ahead move is dependent on wisdom, and your navigate move is dependent on intelligence.
I could navigate if no one else wants to.
Okay.
I can scout ahead.
All right. So the scout, we'll start. I guess we'll start ahead. We'll go ahead and start with scout. So you're gonna roll with wisdom.
Sweet ass.
2d6 plus wisdom.
I believe in you, Akka.
Thanks. I got an 8.
All right, that's not too bad. So what this means is that on a 7 to 9 you choose 1. So you get the drop on whatever lies ahead. You discern a beneficial aspect of the terrain, such as a shortcut, shelter, or tactical advantage. Describe it. You make a discovery, or you notice a sign of a nearby danger. Ask the Eugene what it is and what it might signify.
What's the discovery thing mean?
It means we get to roll up a random thing that happens and is like a point of interest.
Nice. Let's go for that one.
Okay, let's do that.
I hope it's a new type of tree or plant that we've never seen before.
Okay, so that's 1.
It's just scorpions.
Ooh. Yeah, I think it makes sense to go with the first one. So, you come to, I guess we'll say that it's fairly nice weather when you set out. It's not anything that would be too impeding. And you're traveling through this rocky land. You pass out of the woods and you come up into these higher lands, and as you pass over a ridge, the environment around you starts to become drier and drier, and you pass into this kind of like semi-desert area, and you're walking along this old trail, and at first it's just kind of like hills, but then you start to get like these like larger rock formations that are harsher, and you see like some mountain goats that are like walking around them and stuff. And then as you go a little bit further, you look over to your side and you see that there's a huge chasm in the rock that has been carved by some ancient river. Yeah, so that's your discovery. Is there anything you want to do here?
I mean, I'll call out Arca and see if it echoes, but
Okay, sure. Yeah, so I think, yeah, it definitely does echo. And maybe like the mountain goats hear this like loud noise and they're like, pff, like scatter away. They run up the hill.
Crock'n'Boosh definitely comes up behind you and yells, "Crock'n'Boosh!" into the chasm as well.
Okay.
Really, really loudly.
Nice. That's good. So, in this desolate land, nothing else appears, and you continue on your way. So, let's have the navigator roll as well.
Here we go. I'm definitely like the last one coming up behind, like fully laden up. Okay, we've made it to here. Looking around and deciding on, how to continue, like what the course is.
Yeah, okay. So, you're going to be rolling with intelligence.
Yep, and that was a 9.
Okay, a 9. So, on a 7 to 9, the Eugene chooses one from the list below. So you happen upon a discovery missed by the scout, the going is slow, or you wander off course. The Eugene says which and where you end up on the map. You encounter a danger. Whether or not you're surprised depends on whether the scout has the drop on it. Yeah. So... Oh, boy. Oh... I think both of these could be pretty interesting, so let's see. Okay, I'm just gonna dive fate this to decide. Alright, okay, so let's find a new discovery. Okay. Wow. Alright, this is gonna be fun. So yeah, so you look around and you're surveying the terrain in front of you. There's definitely like it does open up a little bit, and you can see where the road is supposed to continue, even along this chasm. It's kind of caught between like a cliff on one side and then like the chasm dropping down on the other. And there's really nothing living here except for some grass, and there's some mountain goats. But when you look down into the chasm, you can see that there are actually some structures that have been carved into the side of it, and you see that there are little statues of gnomes that are adorning the side of these openings. So yeah, it's something you can point out to the party if you're interested in checking it out.
Yeah, I think I walk up to Ife and like elbow her probably in like the knee or something because I'm so cute and little. And I'm like, hey, look, there's some cute little gnome statues down there. I didn't expect to see that here. Why do you think they're here?
She looks down at you and picks one up and inspects it closer, turning it this way and that in her palm. And, may offer it to you. Like, actually, can I discern anything from these gnome statues? Is there anything I can do?
Oh, well, they're like kind of like down on the other side of the chasm. Like you'd have to like sort of like go around and then try to like scale down to the where this place is. You can definitely try to do a spout lore on the gnome statues if you want to, though.
Is there anything lewd is best placed to spout lore on?
Yeah, either of you can go ahead and do it if you like.
Do you want to both give it a go and see who's awesome at it?
Yeah.
Knowing about
Well,
it?
one of you can help
One.
one of you can help the other. You can aid the other.
I would
Well,
love to.
how about let's have Ethan go, and then I'll see if I surprisingly know something to help you.
Okay. All right. So spout lore is, as per usual, a roll of ant.
Cool. Ooh, that's a 12.
Oh,
Don't
nice.
even need my help. That's because you're destined for greatness.
I think.
All right. So yeah,
Aw.
didn't even need help, and you're like, you look down at these statues, and it just triggers something in your memory, and you realize fully what they signify. So this place is actually an old gnomish like kind of like burial ground, or like it's like a temple and a burial ground at the same time. It's a temple to sort of like the afterlife. So you can definitely go check it out if you like. And maybe Croquembouche can tell us something about what the gnomish view of the afterlife is.
The statues are totally, I think gnomes turn to stone when they die, so these are totally like gnome, like elders, and there's probably like some little sad stories in there, like a few little like kid gnomes that are like a bit tragic, but most of them I think are like old, like really old gnomes that have turned to stone when they've died.
Okay, so how do you feel about it? Do you want to go there, or do you want to leave it be? Is this
Would you like to pay respects?
Yeah.
I'm kind of picturing Croquembouche as a bit of a maybe even a foundling or something like that. So I don't think she's had, like, she didn't really at first like recognize what they were. Maybe she was like raised by humans or something like that. So I think I kind of imagine that the others are walking out in front maybe, and she's just kind of looking back at them and and having a moment of being like, kind of relating to them and thinking about herself, like that happening to her at some stage. She's pretty young, I think, too.
Okay.
But I don't think she particularly is inspired to like scramble down to like visit some. Maybe she's like humming a little some sort of half remembered like song that she doesn't quite know where it came from, that she had sung to her by parents she can't remember or something like that.
So in seeing this scene, Akur, that Eugene, who is like, gazing into their crystal ball, looking at the travelers, they like feel some sympathy with Croquembouche, and I'm going to spend one hold to use the move Memories of Home. So if you tell us about how, in a flashback, how this relates to your experience, then I will give you +1 forward.
Okay. So how this relates to my experience in regards to just some connection of this place and what we've been talking about.
Like the song you were just singing, or whatever it would be.
Yeah, okay. So I think we get a little like dream, like, as she's like having some little, like, I don't even know if she's seeing it herself, but maybe it's an audience thing, or the dragon seeing it perhaps. I think there's heaps of gnomes in this same place, and it's all like decorated and stuff, like, and I'm kind of imagining it's a bit like those Tibetan prayer flags and stuff. There's all these flags in the wind, and there's I think there's like gnomes probably riding on little mountain goats, like the goats that you see around here to get across to, like, that's how you get across the chasm and cliff face to where the burial ground is.
Right.
And I think you see like a young girl there with a young gnome girl with the same like plaits that Croquembouche has, and she's sitting there with were obviously her parents, and there's an old like gnomish woman there, and they're sitting with her, and I think maybe she's singing that song that Croquembouche was humming, and her mother's singing the song, and maybe everybody is. And then as they're singing it, this old woman like passes, and she turns into into stone.
Right.
And yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Into it. So yes.
I think as you're humming and looking at these statues with a certain look in your eye, Ite puts their scaly arm around you, their proverbial wing, and says, I do not know much about mortality, or at least I'm not that concerned about it at the moment. For us dragonkin live out hundreds of years of our existence. However, I have heard of a saying that I still hold true to me despite my countless years, which is moments, but make the moments count.
Nice. Okay, so we get that little scene, and then I think we can carry on with our play. So I think that resolves the navigate move. Right. So then that means that we're going to go ahead and make camp as soon as I advance the clock here. So you get 2 segments. So you're going to continue along your way. The weather remains favorable, but the going is hard, and I think like maybe it's a little bit frustrating to you to see the mountain goats easily climbing over all these hills and stuff, and you're just like, oh, like I got these wood planks, and like, oh, it's so intense, but like you do manage to make some progress, and like you feel, I think especially Frederick, you know, maybe you've traveled this road at some time in the past, and you think you're about halfway through the Forsaken Crags at this point, but now you need to make camp because the day is done. So you're gonna have to go ahead and make that move. So when you settle into rest, choose one member of the party to manage provisions. Then, if you eat and drink and have enough XP, you may level up. I'm afraid none of you are at that point quite yet. So like in Dungeon World, you get XP on a miss, and then you also get XP at the end of the session. At this point, the group should take a brief break from play to allow the mapper and the journal keeper to do their work. Yeah.
Cool.
So, the first thing we should do is manage provisions, and then we'll go do that. So, who wants to manage provisions? And Croquembouche, do remember to take your +1 forward.
Yeah, cool. I would like Croquembouche to manage provisions, if that's all right with everyone else.
You're going to be fighting it out with the herbalist?
Well,
I'm like, Croquembouche, have this one. I was like, watch over her shoulder, like taking notes.
Yeah, right. Cool.
And every now and then, when she's not looking, like slip some bitter herbs into the food.
Yeah. That will be will be my justification if I fail. Is this a roll that I'm doing?
Yeah, it's a plus wisdom.
Okay. I've rolled a 6, so let me see what my blue.
So if you rolled a 6, you get a 7, right? Because you have +1 forward.
Yeah, I've got plus. Oh yeah, and I've got a 1, so it turns into an 8.
An 8, okay. So on a 7 to 9, the party consumes the expected amount of rations, 1 per person if making camp, 1 per person per journey clock segment if making a journey. Yeah, so I would say, yeah, it's you each spend one ration. Does everybody have a ration to spend?
Well, I think I'm definitely making some sort of like beer and flour bread in my camp.
Okay.
I don't know how many rations worth of. I've got a beer bread.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's like dwarven stout and stone ground flour. It's disappointingly, surprisingly bitter for some reason.
But it's good for you.
So you
But
are
yeah, like
so you are using your beer and your flour to make this bread, right?
yeah, but do I use all of it up?
Does
It's
it
an
say it?
entire keg of beer and a massive.
Yeah, so does the
bag
keg of beer have a number of uses listed?
I think it's more intended to be used as a carousing thing.
Right.
Right.
Okay, so why don't you say that the keg of beer has like 2 uses, so you can spend 1 use, and then the
Yeah, that sounds
flour, like we'll say it's like a sack of flour, so it probably has like 5 uses you can add.
Cool.
So yeah, so basically this is gonna be you using your move, which is called Know Your Stuff. So when you have the resources, time, materials, etc. to do something you know how to do, you do it. So you don't need to roll for it, you can just do it, because you are a baker.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So yeah, so Croquembouche makes some savvy use of the beer and the flour, and everybody else gets to save their rations. So what does it look like when you're baking?
I imagine she's been kind of like, she's not really been out of seawall a lot before, so it's totally like damper. It's beer damper. That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah, yeah. So I think she's probably been looking around quite nervously while she's been walking along beforehand, and then there was the whole thing with the strange knowing that song and the known burial ground and stuff. But I think she does that thing of suddenly knowing what her job and role is. So she's like probably even like sending like Frederick off to get some water, and she's like probably going from being quite timid to suddenly like bossing everyone around and stuff. Yeah.
So here's my question. You're actually in these, the Forsaken Crags, so getting water or getting fuel is pretty difficult. So you can get some grass pretty easily to start the fire, but you might need to use some of your wood to make the fire. So is anyone willing to give up their plank of wood to make a fire?
Is that why you sent me away to get water?
Yeah, I think that's I'm like, Frederick, we really need some. Like, I don't even use the water in the recipe. It's just I use only beer.
Yeah.
And then while you're gone, I think I'm like, Aka, you don't want to carry that wood anyway. Quick, let's chop it up and burn it.
I can't. What has secrets? I haven't found them yet. I need more time.
I suppose I could donate some of this wood that I'm carrying.
All right, so you make the valuable donation of wood to make the beer bread.
It's probably worth heaps of money, this wood too, if it's wood that he like won in a gambling
Exactly.
game. It's like in Terry Pratchett, how there's the sapient pear wood that's like sentient wood or something. Like it's used to make wizard staves or something. We're like, okay, chop it up.
So, yeah, so why don't you go ahead, since you're expending all these resources on this bread, why don't you go ahead and roll like a die of fate to see how many uses of bread you get out of this baking expedition.
Okay, then. It's a 3.
Okay, it's a 3. So I will let you say that you managed to feed everybody for this round, and in addition to that, you get let's say 2 rations that you can share with the group.
Cool.
All right, so now it's time to take a break so that the journal keeper and the map maker can do their thing. So let's say we'll take a 10-minute break. Nice. Awesome. This is very cool already. I'm so into it. Yeah, so go ahead and... oh, there is a Google Doc for the journal keeper, which I already opened, unless you have one open yourself. I think I linked it on the event page, but I'm going to post it into the chat.
Oh, thanks. I have 3 dragon documents open, but I don't think I have the right one open.
Yeah, that's the one.
Sweet as.
Okay. All right, so let's all take a break and convene in 10 minutes. right. So is everybody around?
I'm around and writing.
Okay.
It's up.
Good.
I'm just scrambling to needlessly do photoshopping on this map. I'm like, don't go crazy! It's gonna be the best map ever!
I appreciate your effort. So, while we deal with that, I forgot to ask you, Frederick, what's your reaction when you see your wood being burnt for fuel?
I mean, this would suppose I notice when I come back.
Yeah. There's like
Because-
a conspicuously missing piece of lumber.
It probably has a particular odor, the type of wood that's being burnt or something too. It's like particularly fragrant because it's so fancy.
The only thing is, I'm not sure I would notice, or like I would put the pieces together, being absent-minded as I am. Like I'm coming back and was like, there's no water around anywhere close by. But I'm still hauling my own planks of wood around. like even if I had found a stream, there would have been the issue where, okay, so now what? How do how do I get some water back, right? And maybe if you just placate me, then say, well, we managed without, and then I'm like, well, that's a good thing then, because I don't know where we find water here. We'd have to track all the way back to that stream from earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, just like sitting there munching your bread, like totally unaware. It's like this
I feel
bread
bad
somehow
now.
smells familiar. Nice. Okay, cool. Well,
I dropped the journal in the journal entry spot.
all right. We're gonna read that when we get to the end of the session, so you
Cool.
can keep contributing as we keep making camp. All right. So the journey clock is at 2 out of 12. I'm gonna say for today, it's probably gonna be just about the same. You'll probably make another 2 segments of progress. And so, because we're still doing the same thing, we're undertaking a curious journey. We're gonna make the same rolls here. So
I dropped my map into that same document as well, just because it seemed like the easiest place to
great.
share it in.
That sounds fantastic. So I'm not gonna get distracted. I'm gonna GM the game. Oh, if you're taking a quick break, then I'm gonna get distracted. Take a look at this. I'm excited. Here it is. Nice. Ooh, that's pretty cool. I like it a lot. All right, so back to the move. Someone needs to scout ahead and someone needs to navigate. So who wants to do it this time? Anyone else want to volunteer?
I could do either.
All right. So go ahead and scout. So this is going to be a wisdom roll, I believe. Yes.
Nice.
Cool. So what did you get?
5.
You got a 5. So even with aid, you'd still be in trouble. All right. So this is straight up problem. Yeah. So I think. So here's the thing. You. You're gonna make a discovery, and the discovery is you're coming down from these rocky sort of highlands, these rocky wastes, and you notice that there's actually like a fast flowing river off in the distance that is flowing down into some marshlands ahead of you. And you start making your way down to where this river is. You're kind of thinking, like, how are we going to cross the river? But the problem is that as you're traveling, the weather turns. And I think what we're going to get here is a spring storm. Yeah. So you come near the river here. It's like a large, like... I'd say, like, it's wide enough that you couldn't cross it even if you were, like, all, like, lined up head to foot across the river. It's quite wide. And it's, like, you know, very, like, rapids. Like, there's definitely, like, a lot of, like, froth and churn in the river. And the thing is that suddenly a squall comes up. And it starts to just rain. It's pouring down. And you actually see, like, in the distance, there's, like, a rain dragon that has come out. And they're, like, these little dragons, like, this big. And they have, like they're holding, like, these little, like, parasols that are, like, made out of mushrooms. And, like, one of them has, like, a cactus that they've stuck over their head. And they're, like, running around the far bank of the water, and then, like, you see that because of the squall, the water's coming down. It's coming down, and there's, like, erosion that's happening. And then one of them's like, "Oh no!" And they, like, get caught. They go flying down into the water, and the other dragons are, like, you know, waving their mushrooms around, like, wondering what to do. But you notice that you yourselves are in danger because the water level is rising quickly, and you look around and you see that, like, you're actually within the, like, expanded riverbed of this river for, like, when it actually floods over the normal banks. So I want everybody to actually, I don't know if everybody has to do this, but, like, let's say, how should we do this? Like, I feel this is Defy Danger for everyone, but, like, I don't want everybody to roll Defy Danger because it's going to be different results for everyone. So, well, you know what? Let's just do it. So everybody roll Defy Danger. And Defy Danger Dexterity. Because, yeah, you got to get out of here in a hurry.
Whopping 6.
Remember, you get XP on a 6.
I actually got a 10, even though my dex is -1.
All right. All right.
I got it. Sorry, you go. What did you get, Mateus?
A 3.
Okay, so 2 are you're in trouble.
I got a 10.
Okay, so 2 you get away, and 2 are you're in big trouble. So Frederick and Akka, you are both trying to get away, and you see the other 2 scramble up the bank and make it to the high ground, and there's like a mountain goat, like, standing up there looking kind of miserable in the rain, and, like, it's the last thing you see is, like, the water comes up, and then you're just sucked away by the current. Up
with the planks.
Yeah, like, yeah, so you gotta miss, right? So you still have the planks with you, right? Yeah. Okay. So if I think this kind of falls under the category of know your stuff. So if you can give me a justification for how you use the planks as, like, you know, a boat right to do something to save yourself, then I'll give you a little bit of a bonus here.
I mean, yeah, this is just me clambering on, holding on to the planks, like they're, like, quite literally my life. and I'm going, like, I've carried you this far, now you carry me.
Yes. Nice.
I'm talking to my brains.
Yeah, so you're hanging on for dear life, and I think you don't take any damage, but you're separated from the group. And it's probably like as you're going down the water, like you see the little like rain dragon like hop up onto the plank in front of you, and it's like hanging on as well, and then it like turns around to look at you, and it's just sort of like as you like rush through these rapids. But Akka, you're in trouble. So I want you to make a Defy Danger Constitution, or actually this is gonna be Strength. Defy Danger Strength, and see how you do here.
Nice. I think as Frederick rushes down the rapids, Aka screams, "Make a boat!"
Okay.
That's an 8.
Okay, good. Yeah, so let me see here. So here's the thing. I think you manage to swim well enough to avoid hitting anything really dangerous or drowning. But one use of your poultices and herbs is spoiled by the water. And you're separated from the group as well. So the two of you who are now stuck on the riverbank, looking down at this raging water, what do? Your companions have been lost to the churn.
I think you get a parallel of the echoic chasm scene where there's this like, Akka! Frederick!
Yeah, and it's like raining. The
Cock and
mountain
Bush
goat
gets
is standing there.
Crockenbush gets confused and just yells her own name out into the Crockenbush!
Good. So yeah, I think you look so miserable, and Akur, the green Eugene, is like looking through their magic globe at you, and they're like, "Oh dear, what should I do?" And then they like go and like they go and grab like some figures from their shelf, and it's like these, or it's like a wheel, like a dial thing that's like has like little painted figures on it, and they like press some buttons and like twist some things, and then they like turn it, and it goes from like rainy to like sunny, and then it's like the mountain goat looks up, and then it's like the clouds just start parting, and you see that there's like some cloud dragons that are kind of like dragging the clouds away. They're like these big like fluffy sheep looking things. They're just like like sort of like floating across the sky, dragging away the clouds, and like this like heaven ray of light is coming down on top of the mountain goat, and it's like, oh, okay. And the water, like if you wait a while, the water will start to subside and go back to normal. So it's up to you if you want to try to like wait it out, or you want to go find your friends, or if you want to try to ford the river somehow.
I think Itay like shakes himself off like a bit of a dog, like to get the water off, and is immediately going to chase after her friends because Akka can't look after themselves. They need to be saved.
Right. You're like grabbing Crocomush, like, come on, let's go.
I'm pretty keen to try and ride the mountain goat along the subsiding riverbank if I can catch one of them.
Okay.
I co-sign this.
Give me
some sort of desperate act.
give me a Defy Danger Charisma here.
10.
A 10.
A 12 with my
a 12.
modifier.
All
I
right.
can talk to goats.
Awesome. Cool.
I'm imagining it's tying into that flashback earlier with
Yeah,
the goat riding
absolutely.
thing.
Absolutely. Okay. So, yeah, you can add a mountain goat to your inventory.
Yes.
And let's see here. It probably has a certain amount of load that it can carry as well. It's probably not as much as like a domestic animal, but you know, it's better than nothing, right? Let's see. So, transport.
Can't believe I've got my own mountain goat now. This is the best.
So, yeah. No, that's a great get. So a horse can carry 10 load, so let's say that this can carry 5 load. Yeah, so you can increase your load by that much. Mark down that you have a goat, and also please give the goat a name.
Oh, I'll think about it. I'll name it after we
Okay.
finish this thing.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so you're like, what does this look like? So is Croquembouche like riding the goat, and then you're like struggling to keep up here, Ethe?
Ooh. Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm gonna take chase after this man goat and this gnome to go and save our absent-minded and foolish companions.
It's a good thing you burned your log.
I'm rather strong.
I kind of like it that if they like runs off like after them all desperately, and like a minute passes, and then suddenly, without any explanation, Croquembouche just like rides past her really fast on a like on a goat.
I love that imagery so much.
That's really good. Yeah, cool. So yeah, so I think you go down a ways, and you find that you're like, you reach like a lake that's sort of, it's a very deep lake, and at the end of it, it starts to kind of thin out into wetlands. And when you get to the bottom, you see a very wet and kind of miserable pair of companions who have like are like on the shore like. So what have you done in the meantime, the two of you who are stuck in the river?
Like the idea, like Arcus is laying on the shore, like picking up like bits of algae that have washed up and like putting them up to the light, like chewing on them a bit.
Yeah, okay. It's like, I swear this was good for restoring strength.
I swear I saw this somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
And I think I'm like, hey little one, you okay? If that rain dragon is still around.
Oh yeah, the rain dragon is like still on like the edge of the plank.
Yeah.
And like they're like looking up and like they're like holding their like mushroom to the side and like looking at like the clouds are all gone, the rain's all gone, and then like they like hide underneath their mushroom and then like go crawl away into the mud.
Yeah, I look after it and then I'm like inspecting my planks. If none of them got shattered, if I still have all 4 of them.
Yeah, so given your 10 plus, I'll definitely say that your planks are intact. So you're okay. No worries, no worries.
Keep mine?
Yeah, you get to keep yours as well because you did lose a use of your herbs, but that's it. So yeah, that was probably the thing that saved you as well. Like you were playing on plank.
Nice.
Okay, so you all make your way down to the shore of the lake, and you kind of like traverse the side of the shoreline, and there's like some forest here and there on little islands in between the wetlands, But you can't really get much further than that because you're going to have to figure out a plan to get through the wetlands themselves. So you're going to advance another 2 segments here in the journey clock. 4 out of 12 now.
Build a boat. Build a boat.
Yeah, you can build a boat. You can build a raft at least, right? So it's yeah, if you want to try to, I think actually, since you're a boat, right, you're just allowed to do your thing as long as you can justify it. So Frederick, do you want to try to construct some kind of vessel to traverse these wetlands?
Yeah. So, and I think this is what I tell the others. I think we can much more easily progress if the true time for my lumber has come. And he's clearly thinking and going like, well, with 6 planks, this ought to work. Yeah, I want to start building us a little vessel. Like this is not a full boat, right?
Yeah.
We don't have stuff for that, but something for us to then basically be able to put our stuff on, and if need be, us forward together, and we need to traverse deeper parts of the wetlands.
Okay, great. So you have wood. Are there any other ingredients you think you would need to build the vessel?
Maybe the herbalist can find vines or something like that, on the edge of the wetlands. That could be kind of cool.
Yeah, maybe I say that, right? I need something to tie these planks together and secure them.
Or even some sort of glue, from out of a vine or something, some super hardening glue.
Yeah, so what are you doing there, Orca?
Well, I might as well go looking.
All right. Yeah. Let me see. Let's look at the moves here.
Our stuff.
Sorry, someone's cutting out.
What I mean is this us together doing our stuff?
I believe it is you doing your know your stuff. And I think I'm also going to trigger another move here, which is yeah. I think this is keep company. So when you spend significant time with someone in close quarters or on the road, choose one of your traveling companions and roll plus bonds with them. On a 7+, you find common ground with them, ask them one of the following questions, and they'll ask you one in return. So I think this is the pair of you, and probably I'll get you to roll here, Arca.
Sweet ass.
And it's roll plus bond, I believe. Yes, so +1.
7.
A 7? Okay.
Yes.
So, you get to ask Frederick about their past, their heritage. So that's like, they're an elf or a human or whatever. A place they've been, their current intentions, or their feelings about a person or thing.
I just have to.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we'll put a pause on that for the moment. And I'll ask somebody to roll for the quartermaster job. It's managing provisions. Is this going to be Croquembouche again?
I guess.
I would be honored if dear old.
All right, go for it. Roll.
Okay.
I believe it's roll with wisdom, right?
Oh no. Something's gone terribly wrong.
What'd you get?
A 3.
Oh, that's beyond help. All right, so we'll get to that consequence, but first we'll wait on the scene of the raft, or the ingredients finding and the recollecting and conversing.
I hope the new goat is going to eat heaps of the provisions.
Yes, absolutely. Do you have a name for the goat yet?
Well, I was thinking, what is there a super famous dragon? Like what are they called? I've forgotten the name of the dragon. Like, do average people know about these dragons and everything?
Yeah, so like the sort of nature dragons and weather dragons are kind of everywhere in this world. But they're not like the kinds of dragons that you talk to. They're just there. They're kind of like wild animals.
Yeah, right.
And then the Eugene are like, you could talk to them if they decide to show themselves, but generally they're like just sort of in the background, like manipulating events.
Cool. I was thinking of like kind of sacrilegiously naming it after a powerful dragon.
Okay.
But,
yeah. Well,
have you got a good name for one?
a good dragon name? Yeah, so we can just use the dragon name generator if you like. That'll work.
Okay.
Okay, fantasy dragon names. Yeah.
Apologies.
No problem.
First time for that to happen.
Yeah, that's fine though. What about Dandian?
Cool.
Dandian the goat.
Yes. And who knows, maybe it is a dragon.
Yeah, it's another Eugene in disguise. Could be. Who knows? Yeah, so what do you want to ask Frederick here?
I think this is like just the beginning of our cooperation. It's like
Yeah.
when I'm handing over the plank, and like as Frederick goes to take it, I like don't let go. I'm just like staring at it.
Yeah,
Frederick.
just need. Yeah, that's how I even focus on you, right? I
Yeah.
was like, what? Yeah.
What do you feel about this plank, Frederick? I need to know.
And I don't think I even skip a beat. Like, this is my topic. I tell you about what I've learned about this plank from the way it's textured and how the lines have grown. What that tells me about the tree where this was cut from, right? I got these planks from those lumberjacks. And
the conversations that you've had with the plank, like what it...
Yes, so this and I tell you about the what the special attributes of this kind of wood are, and how I've felt like, okay, this is the plank. It's really that's going to have to be the center of it. It's the most stable one. It's the most massive one. The other ones will be easier to cut and to turn into the sides of our little craft. And yeah.
So what is this? What does this look like for you, Arco? What's your response to this plank talk?
Yeah.
It's like, it hurts. Like, I want to keep this plank, but Frederick loves it so much. It's like a single tear rolls down my cheeks. Like, just let it go and turn it away. Like, take it, you thief.
Yeah, so you're like, you're like tearing up, and like you go off into the rushes to go start like cutting them and preparing like bonds to tie together the
Yep.
the different planks of wood, and like the rushes are mixed with your tears as you part with your beloved plank. uh,
Yeah, and I'm like staring after you. Um, I'm like, what? Was it something I said? Like, I'll plank up. I'm like, was it something I said?
nice. Okay, cool. So yeah, so you're able to construct the vessel, and now we go to the managed provisions move, which did not go very well.
I just totally realized I own a baking paddle as well. That's like a perfect ore.
You're gonna what?
I've got a baker's paddle as part of my
Oh, that's awesome!
equipment.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice, 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 cool. Okay. So make sure you mark XP for getting your miss.
Yeah.
And then Eugene makes a move. So, yeah, I think this is, you're gonna roll 1d4 for how many rations are consumed by our new friend Dandian.
Okay. Did you say a D4?
D4, yes.
4.
4. Okay. How many rations?
So
you had 2, right?
I had 2, and I'm just assuming it gets into all of the flour as well. The flour's just gone now.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just like it's like eating like you come back, like you're probably like working on the oven or something, and then you like turn around, and it's like the bread bags like spilled open, and there's like crumbs everywhere, and then like you look over to the other, like to behind you even further, and you see that there's like this big bag of flour that's like open, and like the mountain goat Dandian is like, their face is just like covered in flour, and like they like open up their mouth and look at you, and it's like it's all like gummed up. There's like little balls of dough in their mouth from their saliva. They're like
Oh man. I think Crockenbush just goes over and like gives Dandian just a tiny little bit of beer to wash their mouth out with, because it looks super uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's like little lumps of dough start coming out, and like they're just like meh. So yeah, anyway, they're gonna stick around. You fed them something at least. Cool. So yeah, so well, that deals with that. And let's see. Are you bedding down in dangerous lands? Yeah, let's do this. So, so who wants to go on watch during the night?
I'm spent. I'm sleeping.
Yeah, you've been working hard. So who's gonna be on watch over the night?
I think maybe Crockenbush is guilty about all of the Dandian eating all of the food, so I think she offers to go on watch.
Yeah, so you're probably like on watch, and like Dandian is like has like lied down beside you, and they're like, even lying down, they're like almost as tall as you are.
Yeah.
And
I reckon they're totally like doing like gross goat farts though, because they ate all this bread and like flour and beer that they're not meant to eat.
yeah,
It's like,
absolutely.
oh man.
Yeah, and like you're the background's probably lit by like the little remnants of the fire that were in your oven, and off in the distance. Well, let's see. I think you should probably roll. I can't tell you what happens until you do. So, so you're gonna roll with nothing, just 2d6.
11.
All right. So on a 10 place, the night passes without incident. So I'm gonna say that you still get to see this little scene though, because it's not a dangerous scene. Um, so right. Yeah. So you're looking out with your goat friend over the lakes and the marshlands. And off in the distance, you hear the mating call of a muck dragon. So the muck dragons are known to live in the wetlands, and they have like really long tongues that they use to like grab a hold of things and eat them, and they're always like a little bit slimy. And they have like these big like frog-like membranes under their chins where they can use to make mating calls. So they're kind of gross if you get up close to them, but their mating calls are very beautiful and haunting. So this is the music that accompanies you as you wait out the night, but no danger approaches.
Cool.
All right. So the next day, you have prepared a craft to aid you in your journey. So I'm gonna say that this is a very effective way to traverse the wetlands here, and that means that you are going to be able to travel 6 journey clock segments today. This is very, very effective. So somebody needs to scout ahead, and someone needs to navigate. Who's gonna do that?
Perhaps I wonder if I can ride my goat around in a kind of scouty way, like some swimming and some like across some little islands and
Okay, you could totally do that. However,
I
there
don't want to take too much spotlight either, though. It's probably someone else's turn to do a cool thing.
the only thing I'm wondering is if you're willing to give up your baking paddle to help with paddling the craft along.
Yeah, I'll let someone else do my paddling.
Okay, so you like hand it over.
Probably quite reluctantly.
Yeah,
I think who would I give it to?
yeah. Who wants to travel in the boat today?
I think it just makes sense if I do the navigating from the boat, right? Or something.
Sure. Yeah.
I know. Oh, yeah, no, we can't go that way. That's going to be dangerous. This way, we'll have an
I
easier
think
time.
I'll hand Frederick my baking paddle.
Oh, this is perfect. Where
Excellent.
did you get an orb from? I don't get what it is.
It's like still like covered in like flour and like obviously covered in like the soot of an oven, but you're just like, oh, it's a paddle.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Actually, I forgot to give you time to write and do map making. So let's take a 5-minute break, and then we'll get to the results of the navigate and scouting. See you. right, is everybody ready?
I'm around.
Okay. Good.
I'm just right at the end of my second furious photoshopping session.
All right. Just one thing I also forgot. Everybody should expend one ration on top of the amount you lost because of our goat incident. So everyone make sure you're able to spend one.
I don't have any food now.
Yeah, does anyone have a ration to give to Croquembouche?
I got it.
Ed. Oh. Wait, Akari, you're so kind.
Just have it now. Like a hands Croquembouche like a brick of green. Like you can see all these different like you don't even know what it's made of. Like it's all these different leaves, just like mashed together into a paste and just like left to dry.
And it smells like exactly the same as the swamp.
Pretty much, except like slightly spicy.
But it's really good for you. So much fiber. And like, is it like a thing where you like eat half of it and then the other half you give to your goat friend?
No, even the goat doesn't want to eat it.
Yeah, the goat's
probably because it's full, but maybe because it's gross.
yeah, nice. Okay, cool. So if everybody's marked off their ration, then I think we should carry on to good old navigate. Or sorry, scout ahead. So this was going to be you again, Croquembouche, right?
Yes. Here we go. Oh, good. Normally I like failing, but I did just lose all of my food, so let's see. I'm using wisdom.
Yes, that's right.
That's a 9.
Okay, a 9. Does someone want to help out to get a 10?
Maybe the swamp biscuit helped me out in some way, like it kept me all alert and awake.
Yeah,
I like it.
It actually had like medicinal properties, and it is like a mild stimulant, so it kept you alert. Yeah. Cool. So the aid move. So when you try and help another PC's action, roll plus bonds. So Alex, go ahead and roll with +1.
That's a 9.
Okay, so you get Croquembouche gets the +1, and so that puts them up to 10 on Scout Ahead. So Scout Ahead on a 10, you choose 2. You get the drop on whatever lies ahead. You discern a beneficial aspect of the terrain, a shortcut, shelter, or tactical advantage. Describe it. You make a discovery, or you notice sign of a nearby danger. Ask their Eugene what it is and what it might signify.
I want a discovery and a danger.
A discovery and a danger. Okay.
Yeah. Can I have that?
You certainly can. Okay, so let's see what the discovery is first. Okay. Yeah, and the danger. Yeah, I think this works out pretty well together. So the discovery you make is there's an island in the wetlands that you bring your goat up to, and you see that there is like a thick trunk tree, but that it's actually gone rotten, and on the inside there is a big nest of bugs, I think they're like maybe like I want to say termites. Yeah, maybe it's like infested with like large termites. And you're looking at into this like hollow, and then in the distance you hear like a boom 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 sound, and there are a pair of muck dragons that are approaching this nest, and they're these big green sort of froggy dragon creatures. They kind of look like brontosauruses, except they have like a frog pouch down here, and then like you're looking, and one of them starts coming up, and I want you to make a defy danger dex move here.
Okay. That's a 3.
Okay, so I think because this is a sign of danger, I'm not going to make a hard move on you. But definitely you get thrown from the back of your... Yeah, make sure you get your XP. You get thrown from the back of your goat as the goat, like, starts, and this giant tongue comes flying out in front of you, and the end of it goes into this termite nest and just like pulls out this huge amount of termites from the tree, and then you just see like the muck dragon like out in the distance, like probably like a good like 15 meters away or something, just like munching. It's got all these termites in its mouth, and kind of like looks down at you and like is like makes like a noise with its pouch, and you're just like kind of lying on your back on the muddy ground of this island. Yeah. So what do you do?
Well, first Dandion probably just like bleats back at the not like at it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a danger that they'll just eat him, right? So what are you gonna do?
I kind of like the idea of trying to you said they were like sang really beautifully. That was them singing earlier. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try sing like mimic their like kind of pull myself up off the ground and try sing a little bit of their song back at them.
Sure. So give me a defy danger charisma here.
Jesus. I think they don't like my singing. Wait, that's.
I mean, it was a mating song, right?
Yeah, it was a mating song.
That's right.
Yes, I got a 5, so I just sang their mating song at them.
Yeah, so you try singing their mating song, but it is a little bit off, I gotta say. You're just way too small to make those kinds of sounds. And I like the one that didn't eat yet gets a little bit perturbed, and their tongue just sticks out, and they grab a hold of Dandian, and the Dandion's like, bah! And it just like goes flying backwards and like disappears into the dragon's mouth. So you gotta tell me, were you in excess of your personal load, or were you under your normal limit? I think you were under, right?
I wasn't, but I'm pretty sure that I would have had all of my shit on it, so I've just got like nothing now at all.
Yeah, so like
I've got no belongings at all now.
Yeah, I think all your belongings are gone, along with your beloved goat friend. And the dragons just kind of like turn around and start walking away.
But we can totally hear Dandion bleating from inside his stomach, right? Because it ate it like totally full.
Yeah, some say at night you can still hear his cries. All right, so the navigator, it's time for you to roll. We're rolling with int Frederick.
Yep. That's an 8.
An 8. Okay. So, on a 7 to 9, I choose one from the list below.
Is it me on the craft, by the way?
What's that?
Because is they with me on the craft? Because I would totally try to talk to her about. See, we needed these planks. How valuable they are.
Oh yes.
Would have been completely lost in trying to justify the thing I did, right?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah. So before we resolve that, then let's go ahead and do a keep company. So you can roll plus bonds with Ife.
It's a 7.
Okay, so 7. You still get to ask one question about their past, their heritage, a place they've been, their current intentions, their feelings about a person or thing, and they'll ask you one in return.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at this, right? I'm like, are you still mad at me that I took those planks, or that I cheated those lumberjacks off of their stuff? Yeah. So it's basically, I'm asking you about your feelings about me.
If they there's a little snort out of their dragony snout, and it's like, I suppose in the balance of things, that was some really good bread, and I suppose I cannot. Well, this boat is magnificent. I suppose I cannot fault you for your actions because oh my, that beer bread was some of the finest bread I've ever eaten in my long, long years on this earth.
Is this when it dawns on me that, wait, yes, that's why we only had 5 planks to build this boat. We should have had 6.
So what is your question, Ife, for Frederick?
How does Frederick feel about us? Burning his wood to make some delicious beer bread.
Yeah, so what is your current intentions regarding the burning of the wood to make beer bread?
I think half the day I'm sulking now. But at the end of the day I get around and I'm like, well, the bread was very good, and I guess what I did wasn't the most upright thing to do either.
That Croquembouche is destined for fine things. They are a true master baker, or they will be if they put their heart and soul into their baking, as they did that fine bread.
Yeah, and this is exactly the point where we hear off in the distance, "Bah!" It's a goat goes flying into the distance. Okay, so right, so let's resolve the. Oh, okay, because you got a 7, it means there's no mechanical benefit. But now you can resolve the navigate roll, which I believe you got an 8 on. Was that right?
Yeah, 7 to 9 it was.
Yeah.
So you get to choose one thing.
Yeah. So
discovery missed by the scout,
yeah.
or encountering a danger.
So I think this is probably. Let's go with another discovery. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Um, yeah, so this swamp is actually known as Three Hawk Swamp, because there's a number of hawks that actually live in this area. And at the end of the day, after you've kind of made your way towards the far end of the swamp, you see that there's like a tree that's probably been struck by lightning in the past. It's kind of like shattered, but at the top there is a hawk's nest that you can see in clear view. It's kind of like framed by the setting sun in front of you. And if you should like to try to interact with the hawk or take the hawk's eggs or something, the opportunity is there for you to do so.
That's way too pragmatically minded for Frederick.
Uh-huh.
Like, you might point that out, right?
Yeah, like, oh, look, it's a hawk. Three Hawk Swamp, that's what they call it. Does anyone have any interest in the hawk? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna ask, how does our foolish companion feel about eggs and trees?
Who are you calling foolish?
I mean, I've heard they got good properties for muscle growth, so we take them as a present for our gnome friend.
Huh?
She could cook us like a wonderful feast.
Yeah. And it just so happens at this point in time that you see the hawk take off into the air, giving you a perfect opportunity to try to scale this tree and grab the eggs.
If there's like ears definitely perk when you mention like a feast of eggs. Oh, I had not thought of that. That is a good plan.
Yeah, I pull up towards the tree.
Yeah, so you pull up to the shoreline and so how are you gonna try to scale this tree, Arka?
Did you have a plan, Faye? I mean, I can try, if you say so.
I do not wish to get in the way of your personal growth. But are you sure that you can scale this thing?
Sure. I can
Perhaps
do it.
I can stand at the bottom and try and catch you, perhaps, if should you fall.
I trust you.
Okay, do you have any rope or something you could use? I guess maybe you have some rope left over from building the raft you could use and try to shimmy your way up. Yeah.
I like it.
Herbalists do climb trees all the time. It's totally doing your regular. If you want to power game it.
Yeah. But here's the thing, is that I think you have the equipment you need and the skills you need, but the problem is you don't have the time you need. So I think time is a factor here. So I still want you to give me a Defy Danger dexterity to get up there and get those eggs.
Sweet ass. That's a 6.
Okay. Can someone help? I think, this does seem like you had the opportunity to be caught by, Ithe, right? Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so...
I'm ready.
So
that saves time on the way down.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ithe, roll to aid. So it's rolling +1.
I got a 9.
Okay. So yeah, that gives you a 7 to 9 on the Defy Danger. So I think what it is as you get up to the top of the tree, you're climbing your way up there. You can see the egg sitting in the nest in front of your eyes, and it looks so delicious. But there's a problem, which is that the hawk has spotted you, because, you know, hawks have pretty good vision, and it looks quite angry. And so you can grab the egg, and you'll unfortunately fall to the ground and probably take some damage. Or you can just try to scale back down.
Get the egg. Get the egg.
The eggs are mighty delicious.
Alright, so you reach out and grab the nest, and you fall backwards, and we just get like this shot from like the top of the tree, and we see you like falling backwards, and like Ithe's like standing there to catch you, and then like you both like fall onto the ground, and I think I want you to roll a d6.
1.
Oh, you got a 1. Okay. So yeah, Ithe just like catch and like break the fall beautifully, and Arca just like kind of like falls down to the ground but isn't like seriously hurt, and then the egg is just like perched on top of her chest. And the hawk is like circling around like I can't do a hawk call, but they're very shrill. So I guess you would probably just like both like make haste into the wood line up at the edge of the swamp here to get away from the hawk. Okay. Cool. All right. So so we're gonna advance the clock 6 segments. So that puts us up to 10, which means you probably will reach your destination tomorrow. So now we're going to make camp. I think this is definitely a dangerous place that you've come to. You've come to the very edge of the Crevel Woods, the place that you've been seeking. It is a dark forest or dark wood. It is a place of mist and moss-covered rocks and dark places that are obscured by the thick canopy above. Very like large sort of like redwood trees and stuff, and lots of like undergrowth at the bottom. But you're just on the edge of this forest, and you're there making camp. So I think then first somebody's got to manage provisions. Who's going to manage provisions? Is it going to be the same, or has the previous experience disgraced our gnomish friend?
Well, that was actually the goat's fault.
All right.
Yeah, I kind of like the idea of her
Wait,
stabbing.
where did that go?
Yeah, I think I just came swimming back through the swamp after the whole hawk thing in tears.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of her foraging a little bit, and maybe doing something with the egg. Like, we've got wood to make a fire and stuff now.
Absolutely, right. You're on the edge of the woods. So, okay, go ahead and roll to manage provisions.
A 10.
All right. You do it. To manage provisions, on a 10, you choose one from the list below. Careful management reduces the amount of rations consumed, or the party consumes the expected amount and the food you prepare is excellent. Describe it, and everyone who licks their lips takes +1 forward.
Well, I kind of do want to cook an awesome thing. But I don't know how much rations. I don't actually have any rations.
How much is the
egg?
How much
I
is
guess
the
the egg. How much is what, sorry?
How much does the party have left? How much does everybody left have left in rations?
3.
I'm good. I've got 4.
I
Okay.
think I have like 7. I took a lot of rations.
All right. So everybody might as well, have an
Yeah.
excellent meal.
Yeah.
Okay. So do I describe
Yeah.
this meal now?
Yeah. Describe how you make the delicious meal.
Okay, so I think she's like she like she gets this little fire going and then it kind of dies down, and I think she's getting like there's some plants with like really big leaves and stuff, and I think she like wraps the egg up in all of these leaves, probably like getting some herbs and stuff with the help of the herbalist. And then I think she kind of manages to forest for like kind of chestnuts and like, you know, little like sour berries and all of this stuff. So I think she's cooking. You all start to smell the aroma of this egg cooking and stuff. Then I think she kind of pulls it out and like kind of cracks it like open, and I think it's like, you know, a pretty largish sort of egg, and then she's like getting all the stuff that cooked in the leaves, and it's like all garnished all beautifully. It's rustic, but you know, we've been on a big journey, so it's going to taste really good.
Yeah, definitely. So everybody who loves the meal, you can lick your lips and take +1 forward. All right, cool. So now, who wants to take watch overnight? I feel like Ithe, you haven't been pulling your weight in this group yet, so I think it's time for you to take watch, especially given that you have a light spell.
Oh yes, yes, of course. I would love to take watch.
All right, so you are going to roll.
It's 2d6, right?
Well, it is. It would be normally 2d6. However, you're getting +1 forward from the meal. And I think you also get another +1 because you can use your light spell.
Nice.
All right.
I'm doing like shadow puppetry by myself to amuse
Yeah.
myself in the meantime. I got a 10.
Okay. So on a 10+, the night passes without incident. Yeah, so I think we just get a scene of Ithe standing watch, and like you have like a little like glowing ball of light, and you're just like making shadow puppets against this one of these giant trees, the side of it. And like we can see that like framed by the moon up on top of the tree off in the distance, the lightning struck tree. There is the hawk that's just like looking down at you.
It gets scared away by the big shadows.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, so the final day of the journey, this is probably it.
Can I ask quickly, how long is this going to take? So I kind of need to go to bed soon.
Yeah, this is probably going to be one more move to do here. Because,
awesome.
yeah,
Cool.
so I just said it. You will complete the journey today. Somebody needs to scout ahead. Someone needs to navigate. So let's just go ahead and make those rolls. Who wants to scout ahead?
Dibs.
All right, you're used to scouting in the forest, so go ahead and roll 2d6 plus wisdom.
That's a 7.
Okay, you got a 7, so scout ahead. On a 7 to 9, you choose 1. You get the drop on whatever lies ahead. You discern a beneficial aspect of the terrain, shortcut, shelter, or tactical advantage. You make a discovery, or you notice a sign of a nearby danger. So maybe you just take a shortcut if we want to wrap up the session. I mean,
Sounds good.
yeah. So, like, how do you find a shortcut through the woods? What about your like herbalist experience helps you find this?
I think like I see like some flower in the woods that I remember hearing about, like when my grandfather was telling me about his trek through these woods. And I'm like, oh, this is the start of like the forest path, and there's like a trail of these flowers
Yeah.
that lead us like straight to the grove that we need to get to.
Yeah, totally. So like even though this is like a super like dark and like gloomy forest, there's like maybe like these like little white flowers that you're following
Yeah,
down.
it's like they're almost glowing in the forest, like lighting it up.
Yeah, totally into it. Okay, so who wants to navigate?
I
I
could navigate, or does you want to navigate, Frederick?
If we're in the forest, then I might be too busy checking out the trees here.
Yeah. This is a very good wood. These are giant trees, so
I can't wait for some
Yeah.
start lore on this wood.
yeah. Definitely. Okay,
I
so
think I think Crockembush and Frederick are walking along, and Crockembush is just asking question after question about what all the names of the different trees are and stuff.
nice. Okay, so why
Better
don't
not,
you
because we're not any use today.
uh so why don't you roll Ithay so with intelligence?
Excellent. I've heard stories about this place that I've memorized in pursuit of uncovering truths about these woods. Which is good because I got a 7, which
All right. So I believe this is
would be
I
5
choose
otherwise.
one. So um yeah. Um You happen upon a discovery missed by the scout. The going is slow, or you wander off course. You encounter a danger. So we'll just do a discovery here. Yeah. Let's see what we run into. Ooh. Yeah. So I think what it is you are uh heading deep into the woods, following this path of flowers, and it's hard to tell kind of like what time of day it is because you can barely even see the sun coming through the canopy, um, and you pass under like these two giant fallen logs, um, and you're just like carrying along as a party, and as you come underneath the logs, you see above you something that you hadn't quite noticed before in the shadow. And it is actually a dark dragon that you've heard about in stories. So this is this strange chimerical creature. It's a fairly large dragon. It's a flying dragon. And it has a bird-like head, bat-like wings, and a reptilian lower body with thorny tendrils that extend from its shoulders that are like the brambles that you might see on a plant. And their most distinctive feature of them, though, is that they're looking down at you, and it's not their head that you catch. It's that there are these two giant owl-like eyes that are in its chest and are like looking down at you. And maybe the party just like scurries along to like get out of the way of the fearsome gaze of the dark dragon. So I think if you make it to your destination, and what so I think this is a question for Arca. What are you, or what is it that you find here that you've been looking for so long?
I think like in the middle of this forest, there's like a slight break in the trees. There's like one ray of light shining down on this like beautiful bush filled with like all these different colors of flowers on it.
Okay.
Okay. I walk up to it and like grab a leaf. It's like, finally, This'll cure grandfather's back pains.
And in the background, Crock'n'Bush is just picking heaps of the same plant and like shoving them all into her pockets.
Nice. And I think maybe we also see here above the bush there is a like a kind of like a tree that's kind of like a U, very sort of spindly but very, very flexible. It's very rare, and perhaps this is of interest to Frederick. It's maybe a little bit of a reward for your journey as well. You get something to replace your lost lumber. Could be useful for making a nice fishing pole or something for when you're out on the water. Yeah, and Ithay, what's your reaction to seeing people sort of running out and collecting things in this grove?
I guess the thing I have in my mind is like everyone runs off, and if they, it's still quite dark, right? Like
Yeah.
if they have sort of like light orbs around them as they sort of slowly sit back and watch everyone run off, they cock an ear to the breeze and follow it to a gnarled old tree that, upon closer inspection, has like what could be a human face, kind of like carved into the knots, kind of thing. Like if you sort of squint, it looks like human-y.
Right.
And if they approaches it and puts a dragony ear to the wood and presses against it to hear the secrets of the forest.
Nice. Okay, so I guess this is I think this is probably like a spout lore move that you're gonna do here. Yeah, so go ahead and roll with
Cool.
intelligence.
Awesome. I got. Hang on, what's my intelligence? I think it's like an 8 or a 7. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess this is, let's
An 8.
see. So spout lore would be when you consult your accumulated knowledge about something, and discern realities when you closely study a situation or person. So with wisdom, what do you have? Because I think this might be discern realities.
I thought that's a 7. So either way, I'm good.
All right. So, ask 1. What happened here recently? What is about to happen? What should I be on the lookout for? What here is useful or valuable to me? Who's really in control here? What here is not what it appears to be? Which of those is interesting?
What was the first question again? It sounded pretty good.
The first question was, what happened here recently?
Yeah, what happened here recently?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you learn from the forest that the recent thing that happened was the dark dragon that lives here gave birth to some chicks, some new dragons, some young dark dragons, and they're getting ready to try and find a new wood that they can go and live in. So that's what you learn from the forest.
Aww, cute baby dragon chicklets.
Yeah, so I don't know. They look a little bit like hawks when they're young. Their heads kind of look hawk-like. Yeah.
So to see if I can go and like what do you call it when like baby ducklings imprinting? I want to see if they can imprint upon me so I can have like little
Okay.
baby dragons.
Cool. Yeah. Well, you are a dragon person, so maybe. So I'll say you can find them. You can try to roll to. I guess this. Ooh, what move is this? No, your stuff. 8.
We don't have to. It's fine.
Yeah, I think. we'll just elide it and say that you can. And it's probably like you have to do something to negotiate with the mother, right? That they're not just gonna let you take their younglings away from them. So do you leave a gift for the mother or some kind of sign of your goodwill?
Oh man, all I have to my name is like some rations and then some halfling pipe leaf.
Okay. So you just like try to arrange that into something looking presentable.
No, I feel bad now taking these babies away from their mother. They need at least 8 weeks with their mother before you can take them away as pets.
Well, I think what it is that you managed to communicate with the dragon, and the thing is that they are all right with you taking one of the babies as long as you bring it to the woods near your town and let it live there. So that's kind of the arrangement that they come to.
I can promise that.
Yeah, so the interesting consequence, I think, is like as everybody goes back home, you know, everybody's got their stuff. Like we get a scene of like Arca like giving this like tincture to Grandpa, and like we get a scene of Croquembouche like rolling out a new line of amazing cure-all confectionaries. And we get a scene of Frederick like fishing with this amazing fishing pole and like grabbing like a huge fish out of the water on top of his boat. And then we see that in the distance, the woods that were there have started to grow to an enormous size. And there is a dark wood that is growing outside of town because the power of the dark dragon has come to a seawall. All right, cool. All right, everybody. So we're almost out of time here, or we are out of time. I guess we're over. So if everybody's got to get going, we can maybe talk about the game and at the next session. Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should go to sleep, but it was really fun, Carl. I think the game works really nicely. I'll scan my completed Napian when I wake up tomorrow and share it with you guys.
Okay, so actually, I mean, we're supposed to read the journal at the end of the session, but maybe we'll do it at the beginning of the next session, because we're pressed for time. Is there enough?
Yeah. I mean, you can read the first one that I did. The other words I haven't finished yet because I like writing.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I'll let you finish, and maybe we'll read it then. And yeah, that's fine. That's fine, for sure. So.
Plus, I kind of dig like the journal stuff being a thing you do at the start of the game. It's like a prompt for what happened in the game prior.
Yeah, no, I think that works pretty well. The thing is, I've got to come up with a poem to read at the start as well, so I can get my extra hold.
Okay, I'll finish this up and send it through on the Google Doc.
Cool.
Sure.
All right, thanks for playing, everybody. I hope you all had a good time. And
I love this so much.
It was so much fun.
Good.
Yes.
Good. Well, we'll talk in more detail next time about the differences with Dungeon World and stuff like that, and what might need to change.
Sounds good. It's amazing, though. You should be proud.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for playing, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good playing with you all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you.